Nearly 2,600 years ago, during one of the darkest moments in Israel's history, God gave the prophet Ezekiel a survival recipe. A bread designed to sustain life during famine, siege, and judgment. Today, we will recreate that ancient bread step by step and uncover the powerful meaning behind it. Ezekiel received a command unlike any other. The Lord told him to lie on his left side and to place the guilt of the house of Israel upon himself and to bear their sin for 390 days. When that was finished, Ezekiel was to turn and lie on his right side for 40 days, bearing the iniquity of Judah. Day after day, the prophet's own body became a living message, a silent witness stretched out on the ground, bound by ropes, facing the model of a besieged Jerusalem. Each sunrise marked another tally in a year-long sentence. Each sunset was a reminder of the weight of a nation's rebellion. The numbers themselves carried ancient meaning: 390 days for Israel, the northern kingdom, 1 day for each year of unfaithfulness, since the land was first settled. 40 days for Judah, echoing the wilderness testing, and the years of warning before Jerusalem's fall. Ezekiel did not move freely. He was told that God would tie him with ropes, so he could not turn from one side to the other until he had finished the days of his siege. This was more than a spectacle. In the ancient Near East, prophets sometimes acted out their messages, but never for this long, never with such endurance. Ezekiel's body became a canvas for divine judgment, his discomfort mirroring the suffering that would soon grip the city. Each day of lying still was a day of carrying the nation's guilt, an enacted prayer, a wordless sermon to a people who would not listen. Yet, even in this act of judgment, a thread of mercy ran through the command. God told Ezekiel how to survive the ordeal. He would not go hungry. A simple bread made from the last grains and legumes left in a starving land would sustain him. In this, the message was clear. God's people would face hardship, but they would not be abandoned. The bread was a sign that even in exile, even in the shadow of judgment, there remained a promise of provision and hope. Jerusalem, in 586 BC, was a city under siege, its fate sealed by Babylonian armies encamped beyond the walls. The blockade was relentless. Babylonian tactics were precise, including encirclement, battering rams, siege towers, and a stranglehold on every road leading in or out. No merchant caravans, no grain shipments, no fresh water from the hills. The city, perched on its limestone ridge, became an island of hunger and fear. Inside, desperation took root. The temple granaries emptied first, then household stores. Archaeologists have traced the story in layers of ash and broken pottery. In the city of David, burn layers and charred storage jars speak of families burning their last reserves just to bake a small loaf. Mount Zion's excavations reveal collapsed ovens and carbonized wheat kernels, silent witnesses to a final, frantic baking as the siege closed in. These are not just relics, they are the fingerprints of famine. Babylon's blockade turned food into a memory. The people of Jerusalem rationed what little they had. Barley and wheat, once the staples of festival bread, became precious. Families swept out the corners of their storage jars for stray grains, mixing whatever they could find: beans, lentils, millet, spelt, stretching the last handfuls into something edible. Bread, the daily sign of God's blessing, shrank to a thin, bitter cake measured by weight, not by fullness. The biblical account in 2 Kings and Jeremiah describes the blockade as total. The city's defenders watched the enemy build ramparts closer each day. Water cisterns ran low. Hunger gnawed at the old and young alike. In the darkness of that siege, Ezekiel's survival bread was not a luxury, but a last line of hope, a recipe for endurance when all other options were gone. The bread God prescribed was born out of this crucible, a direct answer to the question, how does a people survive when the world closes in? bread. In the book of Ezekiel stands at the crossroads of hardship and hope. The loaf God prescribed was not the bread of abundance, but the bread of survival, a daily ration measured out in the shadow of siege. Yet its meaning reaches deeper than famine food. In the ancient world, bread was life itself. To be reduced to a mixture of leftover grains and legumes, baked with whatever fuel could be found, was a sign of judgment. It spoke of a people brought low, stripped of comfort, tasting the consequences of rebellion. But in that same loaf, a different message lingered. God did not leave Ezekiel empty-handed. The prophet was given exact instructions, a recipe to carry him through days of trial. Each ingredient, wheat, barley, beans, lentils, millet, spelt, was a remnant gathered from the corners of a besieged city. Yet together they made a meal that could sustain a body for months. The bread became a paradox, a symbol of wrath and a sign of care. Rabbinic tradition lingered on the humility of the bread, calling it the food of the poor, but also the bread that would keep Israel alive in exile. Early Christian writers saw in the mixture a lesson that even in the lowest state, God's provision does not fail. The act of eating day after day became a ritual of faith. Ezekiel's obedience was not only in lying on his side, but in trusting that what God provided, however humble, was enough. The loaf was a survival sign, a living prophecy. It was mercy for a prophet. In every bite, the people of Israel were reminded that though they would pass through fire and famine, they would not be forgotten. Even in exile, a table would be set. The bread was a quiet promise that God's presence endures, not just in times of plenty, but in the hardest days of all. Ezekiel's bread was more than food. It was a reminder that even in judgment, God provides. Even in famine, He sustains. And even in exile, He is near. If you want more biblical recipes, ancient foods, and spiritual documentaries, comment yes below and tell us what you want to see next. Ezekiel's bread was designed for survival, but its strength lay in more than just calories. The combination of grains and legumes, wheat, barley, beans, lentils, millet, and spelt, created a hidden synergy, one that modern nutrition science now calls a complete protein. In the ancient world, grains alone could not sustain a person for long. Wheat and barley are rich in energy, but they lack lysine, an essential amino acid. Beans and lentils, humble foods of hardship, supply what the grains cannot. When ground together, these ingredients form a protein profile that rivals meat, making the loaf not only filling, but sustaining through months of scarcity. Each serving delivered iron to ward off weakness, B vitamins for energy, and a dense matrix of fiber that slowed hunger's return. The fiber content, about 12 grams per 100 grams, kept digestion steady, while the low glycemic index meant energy was released slowly, not in a fleeting rush. Even the micronutrients, magnesium, zinc, and folate, were present in amounts that could keep a body healthy under siege. In a world without supplements or imported foods, this was survival by design. What might look like a desperate mixture was, in truth, a recipe crafted with wisdom. The bread Ezekiel ate was a quiet miracle of nutrition, a sign that even in the wilderness of exile, God's provision was complete. Sprouted grains lie at the heart of Ezekiel bread's modern revival. In kitchens across America, bakers soak wheat, barley, and spelt until each kernel cracks open with new life. This ancient practice, once a necessity for survival, now draws praise for its health benefits. Sprouting unlocks nutrients hidden inside the seed, raising levels of B vitamins and making minerals like iron and zinc easier to absorb. The process also reduces compounds that can slow digestion, giving the bread a gentle, steady energy release. Modern nutritionists point to the bread's low glycemic index, around 45 to 55, meaning it keeps blood sugar stable, a rare trait among breads. Today, Ezekiel bread lines the shelves of more than 25,000 stores across the United States. Major brands like Food for Life report annual sales topping $150 million, fueled by a growing demand for sprouted whole grain foods. Health-conscious shoppers and believers in biblical nutrition alike reach for these loaves, drawn by their promise of complete protein and ancient wisdom. Surveys show that over 60% of buyers choose Ezekiel bread for its nutritional balance, while others are inspired by its scriptural roots. What began as a survival ration in the days of exile has become a symbol of nourishment and faith for a new generation, bridging the distance between prophecy and the modern table. 4 ancient grains form the backbone of Ezekiel's bread: emmer, barley, spelt, and millet. Each brings its own character to the loaf. Emmer, an ancestor of modern wheat, weaves a chewy, nutty texture through every bite. Barley, with its low gluten and malty undertones, anchors the bread with a dense, moist crumb, humble but deeply sustaining. Spelt softens the mix, lending a gentle sweetness and a tender, open crumb that balances the heavier grains. Millet, the quietest of the 4, absorbs water like a sponge, keeping the bread moist and adding a subtle earthy note. Together, these grains create a loaf that is hearty and complex, nothing like the airy breads of plenty. In a world stripped to essentials, their blend holds the dough together, turning scarcity into substance and survival into a daily act of faith. Beans and lentils, the humble staples of ancient kitchens, carried a quiet power in Ezekiel's bread. In times of scarcity, these legumes offered more than just bulk. They supplied the missing piece in the bread's nutrition, binding the grains together and providing the lysine that wheat and barley lacked. For Ezekiel, and for anyone baking this loaf today, the beans and lentils are best soaked and pureed, blending smoothly into the dough for an even, moist crumb. Modern bakers often reach for whole cooked beans or use sprouted legume flour, which lightens the texture and adds a subtle sweetness. If dried fava beans or traditional lentils are hard to find, common brown or green lentils, or even canned beans, will work in a pinch. Some recipes substitute chickpeas or black beans, though the flavor will shift slightly. What matters most is the union of grains and legumes, ancient and modern, working together to create a bread that nourishes body and spirit when every ingredient counts. To make bread as Ezekiel would have, the process begins not with a recipe, but with the slow rhythm of survival. Grains and legumes, wheat, barley, spelt, millet, beans, lentils, are gathered from whatever stores remain. Each is measured by the handful, not the scale, and poured into a large clay vessel. Water is added, just enough to cover, and the mixture is left to soak for 8 to 12 hours. In the hush of the night, the grains begin to swell and split, the first sign of new life stirring from old seed. When the soaking is finished, the grains are drained and spread on a woven mat or linen cloth, dampened to keep them from drying out. Over the next day, tiny sprouts emerge, a quiet transformation that unlocks the nutrients hidden within. This is not a step for convenience, but for necessity. Sprouting softens the kernels, making them easier to grind by hand and gentler on the body in times of hardship. Grinding comes next. In Ezekiel's world, this means 2 heavy stones, a quern and a handheld muller, slowly working the soaked grains into a coarse, moist paste. There is no fine flour here, only the rough texture of survival food. The paste is shaped into flat rounds or oval cakes, then placed directly onto a preheated brick or stone slab. The fire is built from gathered sticks or, when wood is scarce, dried animal dung, a reminder of the siege's reality, but also of God's command to use what is available, not what is ideal. Baking takes patience. The bread cooks slowly on the hot stone, absorbing the smoke and heat until the crust is firm and the interior set. Each loaf is dense, earthy, and nourishing, nothing like the leavened breads of festival days. Yet, in every step, From soaking to grinding to baking on brick, the ancient method preserves the authenticity of Ezekiel's ordeal. This is bread shaped by hardship, but also by faith, a tradition carried forward one loaf at a time. Ezekiel's bread, reimagined for today's kitchen, starts with a precise blend: 40% hard wheat, 20% spelt, 15% barley, 10% millet, and 15% beans and lentils, all measured by dry weight. This ratio, rooted in ancient tradition, creates a bread that is nutritionally complete, high in protein, fiber, and minerals. The process begins with sprouting. Each grain and legume is soaked overnight, then left to sprout until small shoots emerge. Sprouting unlocks nutrients and softens the grains, echoing the methods of centuries past. Once sprouted, the mix is dried and ground into a coarse flour, using a food processor or grain mill in place of stones. 5 cups of this flour blend are combined with 4 cups of warm water. 2 teaspoons of salt, a 1/4 cup of olive oil, and 2 tablespoons of honey are added, along with 2 tablespoons of active dry yeast dissolved in warm water. The ingredients are mixed until a shaggy dough forms, then kneaded for 10 minutes until smooth and elastic. The dough rises in a warm spot for an hour, covered until doubled. Shaped into loaves and placed in greased pans, it rises again for 45 minutes. Baked at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 45 to 55 minutes, the bread emerges with a golden crust and a dense, moist crumb. This is not a showpiece loaf, but a nourishing staple, simple, satisfying, and rooted in history. Ancient wisdom, adapted for the home oven, offers sustenance that endures. The first bite of Ezekiel bread is unlike any other. The crust yields with a gentle crackle, giving way to a dense, moist crumb. There is an earthy aroma, nutty wheat and barley, the faint sweetness of spelt, and a whisper of smoke from the ancient grains. Millet lingers in the background, subtle and grounding, while the beans and lentils add a creamy depth that softens the loaf's hearty texture. This is not the bread of feasting, but of survival. Every chew is slow and substantial, filling the mouth with the taste of roasted grain and the memory of fields at harvest. There is a quiet satisfaction in its weight, a sense that this loaf was built to last through hunger and hardship. But the meaning of Ezekiel's bread runs deeper than flavor or texture. In the act of eating, hands breaking the loaf, there is a return to the prophet's world, a place where every meal was a prayer, every crumb a reminder of God's presence in the wilderness. This bread was given in the shadow of judgment, yet it carried the promise of endurance. It was a daily act of trust that what God provided, though simple, would be enough for the journey ahead. Across centuries, from the siege of Jerusalem to the kitchens of today, the bread stands as a living sign, sustenance for body and spirit, forged in trial, blessed by faith. Ezekiel's bread was more than food. It was a reminder that even in judgment, God provides. Even in famine, He sustains. And even in exile, He is near. In a world still marked by uncertainty, the wisdom of ancient bread endures, offering both nourishment and a sign of hope. Ezekiel's bread was more than food. It was a reminder that even in judgment, God provides. Even in famine, He sustains. And even in exile, He is near. If you want more biblical recipes, ancient foods, and spiritual documentaries, comment yes below and tell us what you want to see next.